Sometimes I recall that sword fight. The sparks of the clashing swords, the hustling intense spirit. The many attacks were inexperienced, not something that one could call a sword dance. We were both clumsy and didn't know of retreat. The ridiculous sounds of swords were annoying, and I have no memory of them. At that time, I lost an answer and found an answer at the same time. A plus and a minus make zero. Nothing has changed after all. He's him, and I'm me. I'm just dreaming of his fading memories. It's only been a month, but it already feels so nostalgic. It feels like it happened so long ago. The memory of it is fading day by day, and I can't even remember what the person I was fighting looked like. That also can't be helped. That was something that was impossible from the start. It's not like either of us believed that the fight would change anything. We just tried to attack our own shadow to ascertain ourselves. That's why there was nothing we could gain from winning. Something like that has been stuck from the start and won't go away. It's the end if you lose, and there's no prize if you win. Man, it really didn't pay off. But I can still recall it if I close my eyes. The echoing sounds of unrefined metals, a distant and blinding sword fight that did not know of retreat. It was our beliefs that clashed with each other. I opposed my own ideal to carry out my hope. The outcome is still undecided. I don't know which one won, or which one remained. It should be a while until the answer comes out. An illusion like a mirage that disappears if one turns around. Just using the reverberations as a guide, my feet will eventually reach that place.
Kora, 起きんかったわけ。みな集会に向かったぞ。学校に来ていながらボイコットするつもりか貴様。
Haven't heard that voice in ages. My body's being shaken. The voice brings my sleeping mind back to reality. I lift my face up from my desk and stare at my classmate's face.
なぜなどない。ここは教室で。今日は2年最後の日で。時刻は終業式10分前だ。姿が見えぬからもしやと探しに来れば、本当に居眠りしていると呆れたぞ。
I don't know if he's panicking or if he's mad, but it's rare for Issei to be yelling. There's only Issei and me in the classroom. It's 9:50 a.m. The end of term assembly is from 10 a.m., so everyone must have gone to the gymnasium.
もし、きちんと目が覚めているか、エミヤ。
今ので完全に目が覚めた。サンキュー一世。起こしに来てくれて助かった。
わかればよろしい。だが礼は後だ。急がねば間に合わん。お前と俺が欠席とあっては、藤村先生がどんな暴れっぷりを示すか見当もつかんからな。
了解。明日から休みだっていうのに無茶な課題出されたらクラスのみんなに顔向けできない。藤姉をおとなしくさせるのは任された。
頼むぞ。これ以上宿題が増えれば皆に顔向けができないどころか間違いなく呪われる。
That's a scary way to put it, but it's frightening how it's the truth. Last summer, the amount of extra homework we got after we made Fujine mad was insane. It wasn't even English homework. I don't know what she was thinking when she told us to enter some competition anywhere in the country and win a medal.
エミヤ、急げと言っておろうが。
あれ、すぐ行く。
We should hurry to the gymnasium for now. It takes 3 minutes if we run from here to the gymnasium. I almost couldn't pronounce that word. We should be able to get there in 5 minutes before if no teacher finds us.
いや、それはダメだ。廊下を走るのはいかん。
That was naive of me. As expected of the student council president, he's really committed as he is still following the rules even in this situation.
立派だ、一世。けど、歩いてたら間に合わないぞ。
走らぬ程度に急ごう。何？1分前だろうが何だろうが、間に合いさえすれば言い訳は立つ。
What I'm hearing from you is power walking. I nod and walk faster. It's mid-March, but the sky that I see out the window is amazingly blue. Fuyuki City has long winters, but it seems like spring is finally around the corner. The days went by quickly. It's been a month since the Holy Grail War, and the town is back to the normal Fuyuki City. The Holy Grail was destroyed, and most of the damage caused by the Masters was taken care of by the church. The person that came to substitute for Kirei Kotomine was old but energetic, and everything was settled efficiently. But the traces of the war are still left here and there. Soichiro Kuzuki, who chose to fight as a master, is considered missing. Issei was sad that Kuzuki, whom he respected as an older brother, was gone, but
元からひょろりと寺に現れたゆえ、去る時もこんなものだろう。
he just laughed it off. But what surprised me was Fujine. Since it turns out that they often drank tea together, she confessed that she wanted to have a match with him at least once, so it seems like she saw through the fact that Kuzuki was a master of martial arts. Shinji's life was saved by Tosaka, and he's currently in the hospital. Apparently, the hospital is part of the Mages Association, and his body's recovering. Sakura is busy visiting Shinji, so she's been showing up only on the weekends this past month. I went to go snoop on them once, but they were getting along so well that I thought I was seeing things. I don't know if whatever was possessing him went away from that incident, or if he's just unenergetic from the wounds. Either way, the Shinji that I saw was being taken care of by Sakura was sarcastic but sincere, and he's acting more like the Shinji that I first met. Saber's not here anymore. After she destroyed the Holy Grail, she left this world as a servant. The moment she destroyed the Holy Grail with her own hands, she must have been released from whatever was binding her. It's frustrating that I didn't get to say goodbye, but I should be glad that she's released from her fixation on the Holy Grail. If I'm able to see her again, I want to thank her as much as I can. And, finally, the most important person.
遠坂。
We get down to the first floor and on our way to the corridor towards the gymnasium.
あら生徒会長、こんな時に校舎の見回り？それとも各部室の手入れかしら？毎度のことで言い飽きたけど、そういうところ本当にマメなのね。
We run into one representing the students at the assembly instead of the student council president as she comes out of the teacher's office.
こちらもその言い回しには飽き飽きだ。たまには違う憶測を立ててみろ。それとも貴様、よもやわざと繰り返しているのではあるまいな。
Issei glares at Tosaka.
そんなの当たり前じゃない。何？今まで気づいてなかったの？リュウド君。そうなんだ。もう少しユーモアのある人だと思ったけど、本当に堅物だったのね。ごめんなさい。今まで親愛の情を込めて同じ挨拶をしていたけど、あなたには分かりづらかったんですね。
何が親愛だ。お前に向けられる親愛など覚えがない。行くぞエミヤ。ネギツネに構っていては式に遅れる。
Issei sure doesn't get along with Tosaka. Well, I feel the same way, so I'm in no position to feel any sympathy. And our eyes meet as I pass by Tosaka. We decide that we would act normally when there are others around. I naturally ignore Tosaka and follow Issei. However...
おはようエミヤ君。今朝も元気そうで嬉しいわ。
I don't know what she didn't like, but she embraces my arm and puts on a big smile. My mind goes blank. We've been seeing each other every day, but this is the first time we've touched each other like this in a month.
Tosaka.
I desperately try not to blush and resist Tosaka's touch.
冗談よ。けど嬉しいのは本当よ、エミヤ君。そうだ、式が終わって生徒会の手伝いが済んだら一緒に帰りましょう。私、あなたが来るまでずっと教室で待ってるから。
Tosaka puts emphasis on keep on waiting.
何を口にするか貴様。とっととその腕を離さんか。
何って、 竜道君には関係ないでしょ。それじゃあ失礼。生徒会長に代わって挨拶をしなくちゃいけないから、私も忙しいの。
Tosaka leaves with the noisy footsteps of her Victor.
どういうことだエミヤ。貴様、あのメギツネとどういう関係だ。
いや、どういう関係って言われても困る。大体遠坂と知り合いになったってのはかなり前に言ったと思うが。
Okay, you guys know better than that. You're not acquaintances.
そんなものは1ヶ月も前の話だろう。悪いことは言わんから手を切れと忠告したはずだ。そうか、弱みだな。あいつに弱みを握られたのかエミヤ。
まあ弱みといえば弱みは握られてる。
やはりそうか。くそ、己遠坂、もはや捨ておけん。さあ相談しろエミヤ。今すぐ白状しろエミヤ。二人で手を合わせて今日こそあのメギツネに仏罰を下してやるのだ。
Issei shakes my shoulders.
いっせ、時間、終業式始まるぞ。
みじんも構わん。
I don't care.
どうせ初めは気圧のざれ言。少々遅れた方が精神衛生上よかろう。
The student council president is still shaking my shoulders. Issei is usually calm, but he's a different person when it involves Tosaka. Tosaka must be his natural enemy, but
悪い一世、士気が上がっているところすまないが、俺じゃ遠坂をどうにもできない。やっつけに行ったら逆にやっつけられる。その悪いことは言わないから、あいつには近づかない方がいい。
エミヤにしては後ろ向きな発言。まさかそれほどの弱みを握られているというのか。
残念ながらそんなわけなんで、遠坂退治は一世一人に任せる。辛い戦いだとは思うが、俺の分まで頑張ってくれ。
そうか、分かった。安心しろエミヤ。より良い学園生活のためだ。何としても遠坂の化けの皮を剥いで失脚させる。
you have a long road ahead of you, pal.
メギツネめ、運動系の部活動を束ねて何やら企んでいるようだが、あと1年もすれば生徒会も盤石だ。本当の勝負はそれからよ。
The student council president laughs fearlessly. Oh, but Issei, well, we'll all be graduating in a year. The end of term assembly ends, and the school starts to calmly lose its liveliness. Spring break has started. Most of the students have left with a smile, and the athletic clubs are already starting their training camps today. There aren't that many students left in the building. All the classrooms are empty, and all that is left in the hallways is the redness from the sunset.
やっと終わったわね。一世のやつ、最後まで四郎に手伝わせるんだもの。あれ、絶対嫌がらせよ。
An empty classroom. Tosaka smiles and says so as soon as she sees me in the 2A classroom, tinted by the sunset.
バカ、遠坂がおかしなことするからだろ。そっちが余計なこと言わなきゃ、もっと早く解放されてたんだ。
I entered the classroom complaining. I wonder why I feel so restless in other classrooms even though they all look the same.
何よ、私のせいだっていうの？四郎は。
半分は間違いなくな。いいか、いきなり仲良くなると変に思われるから、3年まで知らないふりしようって言ったの遠坂だろ。なのになんであんなことしたんだよ。
今日で2年も終わるんだから、ちょっとぐらいフライングしてもいいじゃない。だいたいね、無視するにしたって他に方法があるでしょ。昼休みにすれ違うのならいざ知らず、私たちしかいなかったんだから、目配せの一つぐらいするのが筋ってものよ。
I don't know what she's upset about, but Tosaka complains while looking the other way. Is it because of the classroom during the sunset? That gesture that I'm used to seeing looks so fresh and cute that it makes me admire her.
まったく。ほら、もらい物だけど飲むか。
I offer her the orange juice pack that is distributed to students to help clean up.
もらうもらう。やった。シロってこういうところは気が利くのよね。
She accepts the juice pack and takes a sip out of the straw. She's sitting by the window. Tosaka is looking down at the campus as if looking at something bright. I follow her example and look down at the campus while sipping. It must be the track team running. Our athletics department is really lively even though it's spring break starting tomorrow.
ねえ、エミヤくん。昔陸上部にいなかった？
Then, Tosaka suddenly asks me something strange.
陸上部？いや、俺は昔から弓道部だけど。
そっか。まあそういうこともあるわよね。夕焼け見てたら思い出しちゃった。
Tell me to forget about it. Tosaka sips on her orange juice. I'll forget if she tells me to. When she calls me Emmy instead of Shiro, half the time she's making a sarcastic remark, and the other half is when she's saying something important. I'm sure this one was the latter. After a month of her grueling magecraft course, I'm starting to finally notice Tosaka's habits.
にしてもあっという間だったな。聖杯戦争が終わってシロが私に弟子入りしてもう1ヶ月か。なんかこの分じゃ1年なんてすぐに過ぎ去るわね。
It's been a month since I started learning magecraft from Tosaka in hopes of becoming stronger. I've been putting in hard work and tossed around by Tosaka's malicious nature, so it was a whirlwind, but it went by quickly. This past month seemed long but felt fast. So then, a year might go by as quick as spring break.
1年か。その頃にはこの学校ともお別れだな。
そうね。この教室は今日限りの教室で、4月になったら新しい教室になる。それと同じで、1年後には違う場所に行くことになるんでしょうね。
Tosaka holds her knees and blankly looks out the window, still looking at the campus.
違う場所か。
I wonder what I'll be doing when I graduate a year from now. No, I don't even have to think about it. What I must do doesn't change. I just need to make my ideal come true just like he believed. Well, and I have one other goal that's just as big right now, but I don't want to think about it too much, it's irritating.
ねえ、エミヤくんは卒業したらどうするの？やっぱりお父さんの後を継ぐの？
ね。いや、そうだけど、後を継ぐっていうより、早く一人前になりたい。そうじゃないとカッコつかないだろ。
へえ、かっこつかないって誰に？
This is it. In other words, the other goal is to make her admit defeat.
別にいいだろ。とにかく俺の急務は一人前になることで、そのために遠坂に弟子入りしたんだ。あと1年よろしく頼む。
あら、ずいぶんと強気ね。あと1年で一人前になろうだなんて。私10年ぐらいは覚悟して師匠役を引き受けたんだけど、そっか、エミヤくんはあと1年でいいんだ。
10年？それは嬉しいけど。いや、そうじゃなくて、えらく気の長い話じゃないか、それ。1年ならともかく、10年なんて遠坂も疲れるだろ
う。別にエミヤくんの目標が一人前になることと同じで、私のしたいこともあなたを早く一人前にすることだもの。頭の中じゃちゃんと計画立ってるわよ。なんなら紙にして渡そっか。
いや、
That's... I couldn't ask for more, but...
けどそれも無理かな。エミヤくんお父さんの後を継ぐんでしょ。なら卒業した後もずっとこの町にいるってことよね。
そうだけど、そういう遠坂はどうするんだよ。遠坂の家は冬木の管理人なんだろう。遠坂だってこの町から離れられないんじゃないのか。
私は卒業したらロンドンに行くけど、今回の件で魔術協会から推薦も取ったし、試験なしで入学させてくれるらしいわ。
ロンドンって魔術協会の総本山の ロンドン？
ええ、冬季の街じゃ限界があるし、5年ぐらいは時計塔で勉強しようかなって。父さんもそうだったって言うし、魔術師として一人前になりたいなら最高学府に行くのは当然じゃない？
I'm surprised. It's so sudden that my eyes get wide and my head becomes empty. For Tosaka, who is a legitimate mage, that much is natural. I finally realized the difference in our positions that I hadn't thought about until now.
ロンドンか。それすごいことなんだよな。
それは微妙じゃないかしら。悔しいけど私本人の力を認められての正体じゃないわ。父さんの功績もあるし、今回の件だって単に最後まで残ったからだし。
She says it casually, but it must be impressive after all. But London, huh? That's indeed a bit too far. And just like my old man who wasn't a part of the Mages Association, I'm also not good at formal stuff like that.
でもそれを言うならエミヤ君にだって資格はあるわ。私が推薦すれば入学試験ぐらいは受けさせてもらえると思うけど。
But I might be able to move there at least. I can start working more, study English, save up enough for a flight to Britain and about a month's worth of living expenses and find a job over there.
エミヤ君にとって教会は敵地だから乗り気はしないだろうけど、時計塔ならちゃんとした道具も揃ってるし、修行にはもってこいよ。でも固有結界は秘密にしないとダメだから、あくまで基礎力の試験になるのか。1年で足りるかな、時間。
No, even if I hypothetically rented an apartment there. I don't know what kind of place the clock tower is, but I'm sure Tosaka will get even busier. In that case, I should study on my own and go see her once I become a proper mage. Yeah, that's right. First of all, London isn't even suited for me. I bet I'll faint if I go there, and it's filled with people like Kotomine.
ちょっと、人の話聞いてる？エミヤ君。
No.
なんか言ってたのか、トサカ。
Tosaka goes quiet with a clouded expression. Then, she takes a deep breath with a serious expression.
言い忘れてたんだけど、私は東坂の後継者として招かれてるの。つまり、一人前の魔術師としてちゃんとした一人部屋をもらえるってこと。
She says something that doesn't make sense.
だから、一人前の魔術師として認められているの。そうなると弟子の一人や二人はいて当然でしょ。ほら向こうじゃ派閥争いもあるっていうし、一人ぐらいは弟子を連れて行ってもいいんだって。
Tosaka glances at my face.
それは。
Even if I'm thick-headed, I can at least tell what Tosaka's trying to say. In other words,
そうよ。世話係としてなら身内一人ぐらいは無条件で連れて行けるみたい。それなら試験を受けることもないし、学費も何もかも免除になるわ。まあ扱いは教会の学徒だけど、教会には属さないっていうそんな役回りになっちゃうんだけど。
color returns to my mind that went white. No, I force color back into it and mobilize it. But Tosaka is saying, I rack my brain and absorb myself into weighing my options that I have a year from now. It must look funny being flustered as Tosaka is giggling.
なんだよ。俺は別にお前の言葉に踊らされてるんじゃなくてだな。
言いたいことはそれだけ。私はロンドンに行くけど。
She looks softly at me. Tosaka looks at me with a mischievous expression.
ねえ、シローはどうするの？
She gently asks me as if seeing through my heart. My face turns red in an instant. Her words and behavior alone blows away my trivial humility and dislike towards the association. This is what I mean by Tosaka knowing my weakness. Falling for her is a weakness that I haven't been able to deal with for a long time.
あら、突然だんまり？私、答えを聞いてないんだけどな。
She keeps smiling mischievously. She knows what my answer is, that she pursues and attacks mercilessly.
だから俺は
Well, then it's honestly too far, but I can't imagine learning magecraft from anyone other than Tosaka. And more than that, I wasn't even thinking of parting with her. Most of all, I want to be with Tosaka.
もう大事なことなんだからはっきり聞かせなさい。世話係になっちゃうけど、私と一緒に行ってくれる？
うるさいバカバカバカバカ大事なことならもっとちゃんとした場所で言えってんだいきなり言われて口にできるか
I don't know what will happen to me if I stay like this, so I look away from Tosaka. I still feel her presence through my back. Tosaka happily watches me sweat.
ね、シロ。答えは？
A gentle voice like a whisper. I give up. Was it this hard to just reply and nod honestly? But I can't look back at Tosaka unless I say it clearly.
バカそんな分かりきったこと聞くな
I look at Tosaka just with my eyes and tell her my true feelings to the best of my ability. Tosaka's smile widens from just those words.
じゃあこれからもよろしくね、エミヤくん。あなたが一人前になるまで遠慮なく鍛えてあげるから覚悟なさい。
そっちこそ言っとくけど本気にしたぞこうなったら一人前になるまでちゃんと面倒見てもらうからな
もちろんシロを真人間にして思いっきりハッピーにするのが私の野望なんだから。ロンドンに連れてくぐらいで値を上げられちゃたまらないわ。
I don't know where her previous cuteness went. Tosaka says with her confident smile and jumps off the desk. The sun should set soon. Spring break will end. It'll become April. And another year should pass by quickly. We'll part with this scenery until then. After a year, I will be spending my last moments of student life with Tosaka like this.
帰りましょう。今夜はエミヤくん家で賑やかに晩ご飯にするんだから。
We leave the classroom without any regrets. I hear the liveliness of the athletic clubs from the schoolyard. Their shouts are distant and remind me of a sword fight from some time ago. I can't stay in the same place forever. Tosaka and I will be going to a different place from a year from now. It should be a while until I find out whether this is the right choice or not. I recalled that red figure just once. Neither this classroom nor that sword fight will change. Everything is the same. An illusion like a mirage that disappears if one turns around. But I can get there if I aim high. I'll definitely catch up to his back with Tosaka's help. So I'll come up with an answer at that time. The sound of swords echoing in the distance. Using that as a guide, I will eventually reach that place. Walking with the wind blowing on your face. Walking towards the future. Busy days with no compass to guide you. After traveling to distant exotic countries, you will return to where you belong, one sunny day. What came back to me was a distant memory. It was a sign that he should have forgotten and discarded. Something that should not have returned. The sparks from swords clashing. Swords pressing against each other. Dozens of premature and immature attacks and defenses are exchanged. The match couldn't even be called an elegant exchange of swords. It's a clumsy melee of each side denying the other. So how did this once worn out vow get revived? If it is an unbelievable fight between swords, he charges in despite being fully wounded. His fingers broken, limbs ripped, and the boy doesn't even realize it, but his breathing had long since stopped. The speed is insignificant, and the blows he delivers are mediocre. Even though he absorbed his knowledge and reached a point where he could withstand battle, he is back to being as clumsy as he was before. He executes a haphazard mediocre attack. However, that first blow is heavier than any of the other attacks before. There is no such thing as a hero of justice. Knowing better than anyone else that his ideals are false, he silences that thought. His distorted mind can't bear it, and collapses. It's clear to the boy that his own contradictions are going to eat him up. But he shows no indication that he's going to submit. There's no sign of falsehood in him as he wields the blade while his body is torn apart and his mental state dissolves. The intensity of this conflict is incomparable to anything in the past. The boy swings his sword full-heartedly. The two sides struggle. The space is filled with sparks, and anything that tries to intervene is instantly cut to pieces. It is the embodiment of the two parties' minds which are repelling each other yet melding together. A decisive blow is struck. It is simply the final spark, an ember emitted by a person in their last moments. The boy gasps and nearly falls over with each blow, then steps back and swings his sword again. Seeing that, he is convinced. His enemy doesn't have any strength left. The boy in front of him is on the verge of death, corpse-like, and yet why does the boy continue to wield the sword as if he has infinite strength? He briefly sees a vision. He must have gotten tired of seeing his opponent swing his sword despite knowing that it was pointless. Irritation, the most abhorrent impulses well up within him. What did he feel was beautiful and noble? The boy says he doesn't want to see people die meaninglessly. Excuse me. If it's possible, is there a way to save everybody who is suffering? Of course not. He knows a wish like that is meaningless hypocrisy. The idea that others are more important than oneself is not something that should ever cross one's mind. However, how wonderful would it be to be able to live like that? How great would it be to hold such an ideal like that? He can't hear what his enemy is saying. His enemy's voice is so weak, yet the sword he wields is fierce. Looking closer, the boy's hands gripping the sword have melded with the hilt. He must have done it to secure the sword, but by doing that, he will directly feel the impact from the sword. The boy is covered with blood, and if he retreats even a step back, he will fall forward as a corpse. Every attack the boy executes must be equivalent to agony in hell. The boy's voice is inaudible. The boy who's on the brink of death frantically goes up against the obstacle before him. The man does not need to be told what drives the boy to continue moving. It's a bad dream. The man is shown a reflection of his past. The boy continues to swing with his shredded arm. The only thing that can be heard is a strained yell. There were people that could not be saved, and he himself could not be saved. He saw the memories fade away meaninglessly and unjustifiably, and he vowed that he would never let that happen again. There's only one thing that comes to mind. What he believes. What he believed. An ideal he once swore to never let anyone else have. Even now, he swore he would not let anyone take it away from him. And then, the man realizes that there is no end to this repeating conflict. This enemy will not stop. The enemy will not stop on his own. The boy strikes with all his might, but his efforts do not grab the man's attention. The boy is trying to cut down himself. He is the one who's doing the obstructing. The enemy is wielding his sword for what he believes in, for the sake of what he can continue to believe in. Realizing that, the man gnashes his teeth. He sees the boy keep fighting, even if he knows he can't win. Even if he knows there's no point. That is the exact mistake the man once made. But then, why? Why does he keep looking at the boy straight on? The high-pitched sound of metal. The attack finally gets parried. The opponent should never have been able to block the attack, but he repels the man's attack with all his might as if it were natural. The mirror shatters. He's not that strong. He's not at all strong. The way he looks when he fights is ugly, and it's beyond appalling. But that sight. Who in this world could laugh and scorn him for that? He holds his breath. The enemy flicks his sword and resheaths it in a single large stance. This will be the final attack. Will he be able to stand any longer with his wounded body and fading spirit? He will. The boy overcame those extreme limits 10 times already. Then, Even if the man prevents this incoming attack, the enemy in front will surely not stop. He wields his sword as he crumbles to the ground, but his eyes, they're looking straight at him. Briefly, he sees a familiar dream. This dream, who thought of it, and who passed it down to whom? The boy's voice finally reaches his empty heart. A single scene comes into sight. What an ugly, obsessive false sense of goodwill. A beautiful struggling ideal. The final blow comes, but the man does not see the sword that is about to pierce his chest. That's the only thing that motivates the boy. Even if his heart is fake, the beauty of what he believes in is real. And that's something that can't be faked. That was the only thing the man could be proud of. The thing that was once his own strength. The boy tries to complain with a crushed throat. He wants everyone to be happy. That's right. There's no way to turn back from the very beginning, because this dream is, without a doubt. Countless sins and mistakes were committed by his hands. There was no way to atone for them other than to curse and eliminate himself. His blood-soaked hands were proof that he would never be forgiven. And yet, his gaze is straight. Mistakes and lies. He shakes off everything that pierces him, and he continues to run without stopping. The battle ends in victory. The steel, the pain that pierces his chest will not pardon his sins. To a man who curses himself, salvation will never come. But he gains a small answer. The answer will only last until he fades once again. It's a minute and meaningless one that will be forgotten the next time he is summoned. There's nothing to feel remorse over. It's something that has already been established. Something that the boy will spend the rest of his life building. There's only one thing that comes to mind. There is regret. He doesn't know how many times he wished to start over. This conclusion and ending. Emiya will continue to curse you forever. And yet...
それでも俺は間違えてなどいなかった。
You're damn right you weren't, Shiro. There's nothing to talk about. The boy will stay, while the man will go. The only thing that remains in memory will be the exchanged blows. The path stretches into the distance. Relying on distant echoing sounds, the boy heads for the wilderness. Ah, man, I can't tell you how beautiful it is every time we arrive at this end for each of these routes in this game. A new route has been unlocked. Rinchu ending complete. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. We will come back once more with, well, another ending of Unlimited Blade Works, followed by the new route to follow, Heaven's Field.